to It's Like That Madison. I'm Tiffany Tobias with Start Company Realtors.
Katie Kolakowski with City RE.
Janae Wood with Start Company Realtors.
So today we are going to talk Madison again. Obviously you've heard about some of our favorite restaurants, our places to go, just everything that we love, and we obviously love to continue that topic. But today we're going to kick off a little bit more about what is, potential drawbacks. What are some of the things that you need to consider when moving to Madison? So just all things Madison again. So,
no surprise. It's like that, Madison.
Yeah. So who wants to kick it off?
Well, I'll take the big, kind of elephant in the room, or the thing people like the least, winter.
Yeah.
Right, which is upon us almost. It's been 20s, right? 20 degrees. So yes, we have winter, so that's going to be a major drawback if you don't like cold weather. But things to consider with winter. You need the right clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say go shop at Fontana Sports. I'm going to give a shout out because they give treats to my dog. But they also have incredible clothing. If you have pants that are like polar pants, if you have a North Face jacket, I have gloves for every 5-degree difference in weather. You're going to be fine. You're going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Indoor versus outdoor parking, we kind of talked about. You have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do if you have pets? So what else, let's go into it. Winter, what do you
winter,
hate about it?
Here's the thing. If it was my choice, I would get rid of winter completely. I don't like winter sports. I don't like anything about winter. I really don't.
Nothing.
I would never live in a place where I had to park my car outside specifically because of winter.
You don't even think it's pretty?
Like
The white
maybe
snow
for
on the
Christmas
trees?
Eve.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had the opportunity in previous careers, and even when my husband was stationed down in South Carolina, to leave for the winter. So I think I had that. I was spoiled a little bit. I got to leave during, especially in my opinion, the January and February month. So when we talk about drawback, this is for sure my biggest drawback of moving here, just because I could get rid of it completely. I can't help you on the positives, ladies.
I can, but
Yeah, I think, so I lived in Virginia and I lived in Denver, Colorado previously, and, Denver does have winter and we have cold there, but it's very dry. The winter here is just a little bit of a different beast, and so one of the things I knew from coming here, because my family's always lived here, is that you need a real winter coat. Some people buy cutesy winter coats and it's kind of fashionable, but here you need the real deal. You need to check what weather it goes to, if it's a -20 grade or
exactly, the boots have the degree written on it.
Yeah, same thing. And I have a shorter winter jacket that's degree rated, and then I also have one for if I'm sitting at a Badger game. So you've got to have the ones that are a little bit longer that protect you when sitting outside. And so I think that the winter jackets are for real. You got to learn to love layers. And so it's very uncommon for me to wear one layer. So 2 to 3 layers I think is really important. Just staying warm. And one of the things that I thought was adventuresome when I moved here in the winter is learning to parallel park in a snowbank. That is a whole new adventure. And so yeah, wintertime here is a different beast.
We've been spoiled though. We really have.
Yeah, last winter was the second warmest on record.
Yeah.
And so I think they're saying we're going to get a snowier winter this year, but that also means it's probably going to be warmer. And there's more to do when it's snow, that cold when it's -20, -40. We usually get 1 to 2 weeks kind of spread out throughout the winter. That's pretty horrible. But you can stay inside, you get in your car, go where you need to. But if there's snow and it's 30 degrees, you can go snowshoeing, go out on the public golf courses and just go snowshoe. If you have a dog, get your dog out in the snow. Ours are probably too old to go running in the snow at this point, but I'm trying to think of other. Sledding is really fun in the winter.
What about UW Winterfest, where they have the big Lady Liberty head on the lake?
Yeah, that's in February, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one is super fun.
Yep, we have tree lightings. There's all sorts of outdoor stuff that you can do, and you just have to lean into it. And so that's why I think the clothing is important. And I can be anyone's personal shopper for clothing if you would like for winter.
Don't worry about what you look like. I have full ninja furry kind of hood, with a mask. My jacket goes all the way down to my ankles for one of them.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to fully cover up. But you can have fun in the winter.
All right, I'm gonna take maybe I'll let you help me this winter so I won't be so abrasive about the weather.
I think it's
So
funny
negative.
too because, typically in the summertime as realtors, we're planning our outfits. I love a good wintertime because I just throw on my jacket that goes down to my ankles and a wool hat, and then no one ever sees because I never de-layer. I could wear, I would wear a t-shirt, sweatshirt sometimes too for showings, but I just love that you got your jacket, you just tuck it and roll in.
Yep, you got your moon boots on. Yeah, showing houses in the winter that's a drawback for me, actually.
You can't get the lockbox open, but Katie's over here wearing her pajamas.
Right,
so.
right. The gloves, don't do it. All right, so winters can be harsh. What else? What are some of the other drawbacks you guys saw about moving here?
I mean, I was being sarcastic where I was like, you shouldn't move to Madison if you don't have fun college town, if you don't like fun college town energy. And I think Madison, a good example of what Madison is, it's like government seriousness, because we're the epicenter of government in Wisconsin, meets kind of student chaos. If you're ever driving down University and you've got students biking and hopping out of your cars, but it's a really fun college town energy. And Janae and I were talking earlier, you were saying if you don't like the colors red and white, don't move
to Madison. Right.
And so just Badger pride is very real. I think that that's important to note. And most recently, we got voted the #1 alcohol sales in college football. So it's close to $3 million in alcohol sales over at Camp Randall.
And they just allowed alcohol sales.
Yeah, they just
First
started.
year. Go Badgers, yes.
So I think that's something too, if you don't want that college town feel.
Yeah, I mean the vibe was definitely there.
A lot of people, a lot of protests.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like that, don't move to Madison.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with that, with that feel, I mean, obviously there's a different vibe, and what's cool about Madison is that you can find your vibe, right? So we have the core that you're talking about downtown, and then we also have, the outlying communities. So, I mean, and the neighborhoods are so distinct and different as far as kind of what you're feeling, what you're going for, that if you can really take the time to decide where you want to go, you can almost find, your clique in the area as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, Badger pride, Packer pride.
Should we go into probably one of the biggest drawbacks we've got other than winter? Affordability.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So cost of housing, obviously there's great things about Madison. The growth has been really big, so it's bringing a lot of people here, pushing up the cost of living. Some of the stats I looked at, compared to the national average, we're 6 to 8% higher than the national average for cost of living. And obviously Madison is much more expensive than other parts of the state of Wisconsin. I broke down single family home and condo, which I thought was pretty interesting. Median price for single family home in the city of Madison, $470,000. For the state of Wisconsin, $312,000.
Yeah.
So considerable.
Yeah, and for a condo, city of Madison, median price, not downtown. I mean, it includes downtown, but it's also the whole city. $320,000 versus $250,000 for the rest of the state. So you have to be able to afford to live here too.
And I think that coming from Denver, Colorado, those numbers seem really exciting for some people who are moving across the rest of the nation, like maybe a San Francisco or a New York City or a Denver or in Austin, Texas. But for other parts of the country, that could be a big downturn. I've had people call and say, what is this pricing? Because they're just not used to that where they live. And so I think that those numbers are pretty shocking when you look at $312,000 for the rest of the state of Wisconsin, but here in Madison, $470,000. I mean, that's a big turn.
Yeah.
It's a big turn, and that does affect people.
Well, and I think rents affect it too. You know, I mean, when we talk about people that are moving here, and I'm sure this happens to you guys, where somebody says, hey, I want to find somewhere to rent maybe for the first 6 months to a year before I want to decide what community and what neighborhood I want to live in. And then we share with them, you know, that the average one bedroom is $1,700 a month. It makes a difference.
Yeah. And it's hard to save then for your down payment. When you're having to rent. Yeah, 2 bedrooms, $1,800 to $2,500. The average was kind of like $2,400 in our area. In downtown, we're seeing $3,500 to over $6,000.
It's nuts. I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. It was disappointing that they were priced out of the area that they wanted to live in.
Which was where?
It was Atwood.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and they just keep building them. I guess it's the demand, it's the growth. They're doing research. It's showing that people keep filling them up. I know everybody says, is there really enough renters for all of these buildings? But there apparently are.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Along those lines, too, something that I wish I would have really paid attention to moving here from another state is property taxes. And so with property taxes, that is really dependent on the zip that you live in. Is it Fitchburg? Is it Madison? Is it Verona? Is it Middleton? Is it Monona? So looking at the property taxes too, we are high compared to a lot of other Wisconsin cities, and then also Wisconsin's ranked number 10 nationwide as far as property taxes go. So that's something that I think people should know.
Yeah, and it factors into what you can afford monthly. I think some first-time home buyers don't always realize that you do have to factor that into your monthly cost because it could be $500 to $1,000 a month extra.
Yeah, totally. I honestly probably wouldn't live where I live if I would have paid attention to property taxes and not just looking at mortgage as being your principal and your interest.
Right.
I escrow my taxes, so I think that that's important to know and something that we're here to help you with and navigate and talk. That's an important key of purchasing around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a shock for some because they might go on to some online thing that doesn't tell them that. I was going to bring up parking again too, because we said indoor versus outdoor parking. So it'd be great if you can get indoor parking, whether you have a garage or an apartment because of the winter. But parking expenses go along with rent. Your rent doesn't include parking.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a minimum of $150 a month. Sometimes more than that. If you're in one of the city garages, it's like $225 a month if you can get a spot.
Yeah, I would say, and parking, since I've moved here in 2020, has substantially gone up in downtown garages, where you could get away, I think at the beginning of, I just remember paying like $3 to $5, and now it's like,
oh, you mean like just to go for an event?
To go visit or to go for an event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
17 to 20 plus, depending where you are and what the event is.
Right.
Yeah, Block 89 just raised their prices. I mean, it's not Chicago.
Right. It's not $50.
Prices, but it's just a shock compared to what it was. Yeah.
Even in a short duration.
Well, and then that goes into the whole public transportation. Where you're living and how you can get around, through our public transportation. Because we do have public transportation. It's not as extensive as it is going to be maybe in Chicago or some of these other larger communities. But we are working on, improving that.
Yeah, I think we have the bike paths, and then we also have the bus system that is picking up steam and traction. We are missing a train system. However, there are ulterior ways to get around, and when people are looking to move, we take those factors into consideration. I'm working with a couple right now that doesn't have a car and is able to navigate where they live in Madison just fine. But taking those factors into consideration, that's going to be a little bit harder if you're further out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're trying to get the bus out. They have it in Sun Prairie now, Fitchburg, but it's still not necessarily ideal if your ride time is an hour and a half to get inside, which I think is also putting more demand on the areas around the isthmus, which have always been popular, but now it's like people want to be where it's walkable and they're close to work and they have a short commute and they can bike. Well, we just don't have the inventory, and it's just pushing prices up to be out of most people's price point.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, so we talk about the cost of living being high, but obviously there's reasons that is, like you said, it's pushing people out. You know, we have a lot of healthy job market.
Yeah.
I mean, those are coming from the UW, a lot of research companies. We have the school here, which is a low unemployment rate. I mean, I think what was the percentage that you?
So 2.7% unemployment here in Madison compared to a national average of 4.1. So yeah, our economy's great. One of the companies I didn't realize was here is Frito-Lay. So I was looking up some of the big companies. Hormel and Frito-Lay, I didn't even realize were in our area. Learned that. Was today years old when I learned that. But yeah, we've got biotech, we've got insurance, manufacturing, healthcare, something for everybody, agriculture.
Yeah, which is nice, because when we see things on a national level, when we're talking about, you know, housing and things like that, usually when you have a stronger job market, it's not affecting our market as much. If there is any sort of downturn, it usually is pretty resilient.
Yes.
I mean, we're seeing that now where other places in the nation, the national headline is that we're going into housing recession and that things are up to a year's worth of inventory and prices are drastically falling. And here, even going into November, we've been pretty busy and still seeing things list and get 99% in that 99 to 100% listing price. Things aren't, we're still seeing a very pockety market.
Yeah.
So I think that is largely attributed to the employers that are consistently hiring, the people that are moving to this area. We were talking about UW students. They also graduate and often in turn around and live here and are productive members of society, or, you know, very active in these companies that we're talking about. And with that being said too, like, we always look at our appreciation charts and see that even when the housing market crashed in 2008, Madison just didn't see that as much as other areas. Like Madison saw maybe a negative 2% appreciation level, where Milwaukee was seeing negative 6% plus a little bit. And so Madison's pretty resilient.
Yeah, we bounced back really quick from that. I think everybody took a few years to bounce back, but by 2013 we were, I think, on the upswing again. And just for resilience of the housing market too, I wrote down a couple other stats. I mean, we averaged 8.5% appreciation from 2019 to 2024.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Those were great years.
Yeah.
Because I think over 30 years, we might see like 4.5% is what it averages out. Those were great years. Right now, even while people are saying it's slowed down, you know, maybe the housing market is taking a pause, we're still around 3.5% appreciation. And that's just in this moment. You know, by the end of the year, it could average out to be higher than that.
Well, that just takes into effect all, like you said, with the job market being strong here, with having the research, having the college, having all the things that we just talked about, all those businesses, there's a need and there's a demand. And so the high cost of living might be part of that, or what we feel is the high cost of living. But I mean, it is because of exactly what we're talking about, and that's why the appreciation stays in the positive side of things. And that's why when we're talking to our clients and we're looking at the rent versus the buy, we can safely say to them, hey, we know that we're not putting you in a hole with this purchase. We can share those numbers and make sure that they understand that, you know, they're not going to be under.
And look at their home as an asset.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's
right.
I hear that.
And I think we're friendly to entrepreneurs,
Yes.
which I think is
great
in Madison. So we've got continued growth. It's going to continue to be demand for homes, for businesses, if people want to start businesses here. You already brought up the distinct neighborhoods, which is a big plus, that there's just a vibe for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the east side and have like 10 different neighborhoods, you know, that might fit
And they all have a
that you
different
like.
vibe.
Or the west side. So I think that's a huge thing. Proximity to water was one of my biggest pluses for Madison.
You should not move here if you don't like water.
Yeah, don't move here if you don't like water, because we are surrounded by it on an isthmus. But for me, I just need to be around it. You want to be in it. I want to be just walking
Oh,
by
I think
it.
being around it too. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It changes the vibe. It changes the, yeah, I love it.
One thing I wish I knew before moving here was I never really understood snowbird. I, full transparency, thought that was kind of a silly idea. But living here and planning a vacation, just because it does get a little gray in the wintertime, I always try to get out into the sun or somewhere warmer in January or February if you can. But just kind of buckling down and knowing that it's a little bit gray. I think that that's really important. And now I really I admire the snowbirds. I've come to learn here.
Aspire to do that.
Yeah, I wish that was like a tip that somebody would have given me my first winter here, just because it does get a little bit gray, it does get a little bit cold, and you either need to go find some sun or just kind of prepare for that too. And with that being said, another thing that I didn't really realize until I lived here is that we kind of have something called second winter that we call mud season. So like the snow all melts and it gets a little bit muddy, and then we settle into spring. So Madison is great because you do get multiple seasons, but I was joking with Janae before we started today, and I was like, technically a 5 because you have winter, mud season, spring, summer, and then fall. But we do get all seasons here, which I've lived in other places, and you don't normally see that.
Yeah, I think having multiple seasons, I say 4, but I can't imagine living somewhere where I didn't have that. I love the fall. I love to see the snowfall. I love when the flowers bloom, and then the hot of the summer. So I just think we have the best of everything here. Do we have drawbacks? Sure, but
it depends what you like and what you don't like. Like if you don't like cheese, don't move to Madison.
If you don't like, if you don't like breweries, craft beer, don't move to Madison.
Don't move to Madison.
I think it's funny when we talk about what we want to talk about on the podcast and just talking here in general and saying what are the drawbacks, and we can. Knowing the three of us, we can definitely say, hey, here's some drawbacks, but the drawbacks are also positives, for us, right? Like, which is fun, like to know that you're in a community that you absolutely love, right? So if I say, hey, do you like outdoor access? And you're like, yeah, move to Madison. Do you like lakes? Move to Madison. Do you like cheese?
And the bikers will kill me, but if you don't like bikes, which I'm one of them, I don't like sharing the road with all of the bikes. There are a lot of bikes in Madison, so you just have to get used to that, and they get right of way no matter what. So there is that drawback too. It's a positive if you like to ride your bike places, but it's a negative if you're always on the road with bikes. And they get some of the roads to themselves sometimes too. They just close the road for bikes.
They're getting more and more.
So that's one of my things that I don't like.
I think it's like being part of a city that's active, right? But it's not 24/7. So it's not like the aggressiveness of a large metro area. So it's not 100%, but you can find the things that you're looking for. Almost surely you can find most of the things that you're looking for.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Can stay out late if you want. Go to bed early if you want.
Yeah. Should we tell them about next time?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to tell them? Okay.
Yeah, you should definitely.
So next time is going to be fun. We're taking it on the road. Should we say where we're going?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be going to Table Wine on Atwood Avenue. I don't know that I want to see what the topic is, though. You want me to say what the topic is, too?
You can tease it.
Okay, we'll just tease the topic. You'll have to find out how we are going to relate a wine store to real estate.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Sound good?
There you go. That works.
All right. Yeah, so that will be in December.
Well, until next time, it's like that, Madison.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, everybody.